Great start of the day, this appreciation of music. I want to talk about memory.
As you sat down, we started to say to you, we remember nothing about you because we are living completely in the now. So it is not surprising that you would want to start there.
Yeah. Since a couple of years, and I can't remember how many years it was, but I keep forgetting things.
Good. There are a lot of things that are not a vibrational match to who you now are. So that means law of attraction is no longer bringing to you those things are not a vibrational match to what's active within you. It's the best news ever.
And I notice it's a process. It's not a deliberate process. It's more or less by default the things I forget. And
well, the thing is, you're calling it by default, but everything, you see, your brain is not a storage cabinet filled with memories. Esther teases about learning something new and having to dump off childhood memories, as if it is a storage cabinet like her camera that to put new pictures on, she has to take other pictures off. And your brain is not like that at all. It's a transmitting and receiving mechanism. So most people go through life focused on what is, remembering what is and what was, talking about it and keeping it active in their mind. So as they keep it active, then law of attraction keeps gathering things like it to them. So they have very vivid memories because it's very active and they have easy access to it. But as you start focusing upon other things, not just subjects, but other things of different vibrational frequencies, now, law of attraction is keeping those things active. Now, you can go back and reactivate. Jerry and Esther laugh because Jerry especially has lived so many lifetimes in coming to where he is now. In fact, he's been defining them into eras. There was this era and this era and this era, and it is so annoying to Esther because she only wants him to focus upon his happily ever after era with Esther. She does not want any of those other eras to be active in his vibration. But what she's been noticing is, as he gets focused, at first he can't remember. He can't remember what this or that or this or that. He'll talk about some person he knew, but he can't quite remember their name. And before long, as he focuses there, the names start coming back, the places start coming back. In other words, as he achieves a vibrational frequency of that time, of that space, then the memories begin to come back. But also, what we are teaching about that is the way you felt back then begins to come back too. So never, and this is the thing that's hard for most people to realize, never is something that was before better for you than something that is now. In other words, if you're aligning with your vortex, then you're always moving forward. You're always feeling fulfilled with the energy of the life-giving now that's in the vortex. But there is so much about your past that is interesting or that you want to regurgitate, but there is really no great advantage to it. So it's a frequency. When you achieve a frequency, haven't you noticed you're having dinner with someone, they bring something up, you get thinking about it, and as you get thinking about it, it activates things within you, and before you know, you have a whole conversation going about something that came out of who knows where, and we say it came out of the vibrational ethers, because every thought that has ever been thought still exists. It's not stored in your brain.
So what's the how can you do it more deliberate, more...
Do what more deliberate?
Forget.
You forget more of what is irrelevant by focusing upon more of what is relevant. In other words, it's like just keeping your mind active on what really matters to you. Jerry has said to Esther almost from the day he met her, if you are not focused upon your own goals, which is not a word that we use much or that they do either anymore, if you are not focused upon your own intentions, is the way we would speak it, then you become part of someone else's. Because we've been saying to all of you that one who's connected to this stream of energy, one who's in the vortex, is millions millions of times more powerful and influential than one who is not. So if you are moving along sort of all over the map in terms of what you're thinking about, someone with very clear intentions can dominate the vibration around you. And sometimes it's uplifting and of advantage to you. Sometimes it takes you for a while off your course of what's really in your vortex. So what we are wanting for everyone is that you release enough resistance deliberately, which is really at the heart of your wonderful question. Release enough resistance deliberately that the vortex just calls you toward what you want and toward who you are. Now, let's talk about this very fine distinction that you have uncovered here, because you said, how can I forget? And we said, better said, you said, how can I forget more of what doesn't apply? And we said, better way of saying it is, how can I remember or be actively involved with what matters to me? But there's even a better approach to this. Rather than trying to deliberately choose the thought, the better way is deliberately choosing the vibrational attitude by understanding the vibrational nature of this universe, by understanding the vibrational nature of your being, by accepting that you have a vortex that spins, that is full of all things that you desire, and that all cooperative components have been already assembled. So that rather than thinking in terms of thinking your way into the vortex, you just accept the validity of the vortex, and you allow, because of the absence of resistant thought, you allow the vortex to take you in. So music, powerful key. Even going to a sporting event where you're distracted from things that might be actively bothersome. Meditation is the best process that we know, where you quiet your mind and literally release thought. And in the absence of thought, there is no resistance, and the vortex will take you in. So what the direction that we are speaking these days is, speaking from your perspective, I want to allow my vortex to tune my frequency upward into that which is natural. I'm going to allow my vortex to tune me. And if you pay attention, you can feel when you're letting that be. In other words, you could be running with your dog on the beach, feeling wonderful and knowing you're allowing the tuning right then. You could be in the midst of making love with someone and feel the alignment with Source in the moment. You could be listening to magnificent music or listening to the meditation CD that we or others have provided. In other words, you could be but the important thing is to recognize the moment, of no resistance, or better said, to recognize the moment of full allowing, and then do your best to maintain it and sustain it. And you do that by knowing that sometimes it exists, watching for when it happens, reveling in it when it does happen. Sometimes Jerry and Esther will find themselves together in one of those moments, and they will just talk about it and milk it and talk about it and milk it and talk about it and milk it and talk about it and milk it. Not because they're trying to make something else happen, but because they both recognize that this is where they most want to be. And when they are there, they want to sustain it as long as possible. Yes?
Yes.